and then also Isaac was circumcised on eighth day, and he was teaching the Isaac. So Abraham went all the way through. The whole world was filled with polytheistic gods. He believed in one God and he followed the God and he observed all the Torah portion. I will talk about the Torah a little bit later once I complete this one. The next comes Isaac. Isaac is Isaac. Isaac was put into the altar, sacrificial altar, to be slaughtered by his own father. But Isaac thought it was a privilege to die in the hands of his own father. You know why? Because Isaac had a teacher, that is his father. So that was his father. So Isaac had a teacher to train him, to teach him all the Torah portions, all the Torahs, and all about the God. So he understood very clearly, and he thought that it is a big privilege for him to die in the altar. So he went along with Abraham. So Abraham's action was much more bigger than Isaac. Isaac's action was much more bigger because much more opportunity for him to learn everything. He had a teacher, but Abraham never had a teacher. And he's only God. So he trusted and he tried to learn and tried to walk in the ways how the Torah teaches. The third comes in Isaac, Jacob. He served 20 years with Laban, and also he went to Egypt and he served. He was there for 17 years. He struggled a lot in his lifetime, a lot. He suffered a lot in his lifetime. But he had two teachers. One was his father, and one was his grandfather. So he could able to learn more about God, more about God's perspective, and more about the God's strength. So Jacob had the two teachers for him to teach, to walk in the Torah. So he was more privileged to walk in the Torah, to walk what the Torah talks about, how the Torah was interpreted. So these Torahs were not even existed at the time. Torah came after Moses, but even before the Torah was established in this world, Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham was observing and following exactly how the Torah would have been told. Isn't it amazing? That's why God, greatly appreciated them. That's why whenever he blessed, whenever he made the covenant, he said that I made covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why they are the greatest people of the biblical heroes. That's why Jacob became, because he know how to exile from Egypt to Canaan. You all remember when Jacob was fighting with one of the last messenger. It was God himself was there. Jacob was fighting. So God himself came as Elijah's type of a thing. He was an harbinger. He was fighting with them. In that time, that what they tell is that's how Jacob got the extra vowel, because when God was wrestling with him, Jacob told him that we need to exile from this country. We have to go from here to the land. Promise me that you will be taking us out of this. If you don't, if you promise me, then I will take the vowel from you and I'm going to use to my name, so that your promise is attached with me. That's what the Hebrew, translations, but it is really a good one to understand. So that's why Yaakov had an extra vowel or extra, additional letter for his in this period only. So it was having 5 times it was been told in the book of Leviticus or in all the Torah. His name was spelled in such a way that 5 times in the Hebrew book, not in here. So 5 times Vev means the number to Vev is 6. So 5 times 6 is 30. And this 5, the rabbi explains that the 5 Vev or 5 times Vev were told is represented by the 5 fingers. Because the alphabet wow is been like a finger, straight finger. So 5 times into 6, the gematria of number 6 is 30. The hand has 30 bones. What is the bottom line principle is that he shook hand with Elijah, or God himself wrestled him, and make sure that he and his generation will be exiling out of Egypt. That was a promise that he got from them. So also the Bible talks about 5 attributes or of the God. When you open the book of Isaiah chapter 52, I think the words, I believe it's 13, I believe. Yeah. You know, when you open the book of Isaiah, verse 13, yeah, it's 13, says that 5 great qualities of God. Number one is um, he shall prosper. Number two, he should be exalted. Number three, he should be lifted up. And fourth, he should be high. He was high. And number five is he was being, worshipped as very high. So 5 great qualities of God was, exactly represented about the number of gematria of the 5. So why I'm telling this one? Because Jacob fought with this Messiah to exile him from here, ultimately to move out for the Egypt. That is the same thing, because we are also in a period of exile. We are also in a period of world that we are going to go to another world, to another place. That is our permanent place. This is temporary. We need to exile. But in order for us to exile, that's what Bible says it. Follow, be like Jacob, be like Jacob, meaning that the Bible, the Hebrew Bible says that Jacob was studying Torah in the tents, sitting down the whole day. He used to study the Torah all the time, waiting in the tent on the desert land. So follow like Jacob or Jacob, so that we can also exile from this sinful land to the eternal place. But follow Jacob, meaning read the Torah every single day, and the whole day start reading the Torah book or the Bible. That's the concept of this Torah portion. Bottom line is that one. You know, um, so Jacob, was the one of the ideal person, that is the greatest person of these three, because he read Torah in the desert land all his life, sitting in the tent. Folks, I'll tell you, repeatedly I'll tell you, there are curses and there are blessings. No, Christianity, never they talked about curses, because they believe in one thing, that every situation has been resolved by Jesus Christ. We are all saved by grace, and no more blessing, no more cursing. Everything is blessings. There was a story. It was told in the Egypt, in one of the in Hebrew. One time, these Torah books were read in the temple of Hebrew temple. So when the reader was reading the last portion of it, when the reader was reading the curses, he was reading it very slow, very mild, and very in a slow voice. When he was reading the other verses, he will make his voice bigger. So one of the other rabbi who was sitting there, he was shouting and yelling at him, and he told him, "Read it loudly, read it loudly," and the whole congregation will become silent. Again, the reader will read it. Again, he will read it in a very slow pace. Again, this rabbi was shouting, "Read it loud, read it loud." Why he asked to read loud, to read these curses in a loud voice? He said that we already suffered all the curses already, because Jewish people went through a lot of cursings. They were, killed tremendously. There was killings of the crusades killing, and there was um, the other one called inquisitions by the Spanish people, and the crusades were done by the Christian people to kill the Jewish. Holocaust happened. There was a lot of killing, a lot of persecutions. Jewish nation went through a lot of cursings, a lot of punishments in their life. Now for us, we don't have to go through all those things. No more, death by sword, or no more death by fire like Isaac, or no more death by the persecution by Jewish people. It's so easy that God has given an opportunity, Jesus has given an opportunity, you know, to read the book, to read the Bible, to read all these laws and statutes, and get understand this one, and make it closer to God, and so that we can exile this world, sinful world, in a better way, to the eternal side. Folks, this Bechukoisai is about the statutes, about the laws. Repeatedly I tell, or one more time I'll tell repeatedly. Nobody talks about the curses anymore in this world. There are curses. If you don't read this, if you don't observe this, if you don't do this one, there are curses. I already kept on telling to you, I have told enough of Torah. I have told enough of all the statutes and laws. I don't have to. The nutshell portions, what you're receiving, what you're learning, and what you're at least hearing from me. I'm not proud of it, but at least I have a satisfaction. I'm letting this out to you because I'm, like yesterday we saw, I'm lighting the candle something so that it can get burned. So at least I am there to tell this one. I'm so glad in this one. That's why I'm doing it. So the Torah, or the studying of this one, we have to see that one. If we don't do this one every single day, definitely we will be facing the consequences. The curses will come upon comes upon to us. No preacher or no evangelical pastors or no one talks about the curses. Everybody talks about the blessings. Brother, sister, it's easy, God will bless you. God will give you a good job. God will give you, bless you with a good visa to a good country. God will bless you with, the children. God will bless you with this. Everything is blessings. No one talks. No one condemns the people. Hey, if you don't study this one, you will be cursed. If you don't study this one, your generation will be cursed. Why Jacob was the first time he was been graded as much more better than Abraham, Isaac? Because Jacob studied the Torah every single day in the desert land, in the desert. Number one. Number two, his 12 kids were Jewish born kids, Jewish kids, and they were all practicing all the Torah. Not even Abraham had a one kid, Ishmael, he was not practicing the Torah. Understand? So Yaakov was, God recognized this one. And he goes like, I made the covenant with Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham. Not the Abraham, Isaac, and Abraham. So Jacob was the greatest among three in this manner, in this category. So God puts him first when he was addressing. So it is also an instruction for us, follow Jacob. Do what Jacob did. Jacob was praying, Jacob was reading the Torah and observing the Torah when he was there. All I'm asking you is the one that observe the Torah, read the commandments, go and find out, what all the commandments are written. 613 commandments. We need to follow that one. I'm not asking again and again and repeat. It is not sacrificial because even Jewish people are not doing any sacrifices because there is no temple right now. Those practices have been stopped a long time back ago. So right now we have to do is read the Bible, connect it together, connect the Old Testament and the New Testament. There is nothing separate. No. Jesus said that I came to fulfill the law. And he did fulfill the law. So as we are also going to do the same thing. So Bechukoisai, the statutes, follow this one. Follow like Jacob. Until next time, until probably I might bring a new Torah or I might continue this Bechukoisai. I do not know. So until next time, have a blessed week and have a blessed day. Bye.